Hello and welcome to Role Models. This is episode 12. We are, of course, filming at Authentic Collectables HQ in Perth, Western Australia. My name is Andrew van Leeuwen and I'm joined, as always, by the model man himself, William Hall. William, how are you?
Good morning and or afternoon. Yeah, I'm not too bad.
I think we can safely say it's an afternoon show.
Well, it depends when people are watching, but yeah, it is the afternoon.
It's an afternoon show, hence why we are on the more adult beverage side of things right now. Thank you very much for all the feedback from episode 11. The code word competition, let's run through that quickly.
Absolutely.
Last episode's code word was championship.
It was.
We were about to crown a champion. Right, I'm losing track. It's very late in the year.
I know,
I'm
right?
beginning to lose track of what we have done or haven't done, or when we did basically everything.
Correct.
So an honourable mention in the code word competition goes to @JamesChapman1072. Can't wait to see my 1/12th Brodie Kostecki 2025 championship winner in the cabinet next year. Called it early.
It's a pretty early call.
Wow. And you're making
I
one.
like it,
You're
though.
going to make 1/12s?
Too right. If he wins the championship, we'll be all
Okay.
over it.
All right, that's a big call early, so definitely worthy of an honourable mention there. But the winner of the Codeword competition for episode 11 was a Bailey Mendy K097. Authentic Collectables are definitely winning the championship for the best diecast model cars. I can see you chose that one.
Yeah,
I
always.
can see you
Always
chose
a
that
winner
one.
when you praise the company. It's always a good start.
It is. We have proven time and time again to show how easily bought we actually
So easy.
are. So there's
So easy.
$250 worth of gift card coming your way. Keep an eye out for the code word in this episode to play the same game again and for your chance to win. Of course, if you listen to this as a podcast, that's great. Thank you for doing that, but you will need to watch the YouTube version to find out what the code word is. Alrighty, let's have a chat about some of the new model announcements going on right here at Authentic. William, what have you got for us?
Pretty busy month this month.
There has been a bit going on, I've
yeah,
noticed.
Yeah, just playing a little bit of catch up on a few things. So if you're a Grove Racing fan, a Penrite Racing fan, then we've had a fair share of announcements for you, both in 1/18th and 1/43rd. So the Sandown 500 liveries, which was the beautiful blue Moffat tribute.
Slightly different blue to what was originally planned.
Yes, but it still looked pretty good.
Well, that's
Still
what
looked
makes
pretty
it
good
like,
in it.
it's like the upside down aeroplane, right? That's what makes it more collectible.
Exactly. So we've got those, and also the gold version that it then reverted to for Bathurst. So both car 19, car 26, 18th, 43rd, both cars, both scales. So yeah, if you're a Grove Racing fan, there was plenty to be announced there.
Yep.
Then staying on the Sandown theme, we have the first podium for Golding and for Premier and James Golding and David Russell at the Sandown 500 in the new white version of the new Lon livery,
which is a great looking car. It always does my head in because I keep thinking that he got a podium in Darwin.
Yes.
But he didn't. He got a pole in Darwin.
That's right.
And he looked for all money like he might
Like he was
going to
get
at some
it.
point, but he
That's right.
didn't actually do that. But yeah, no, so it's always like, no, that's the Sandown was the first.
Waited to the Sandown 500. So that was pretty cool. So we've announced that one as well, both again 18th and 43rd. And then the first of our Tickford announcements for the year. Obviously, we had some dramas which we've spoken about with Tickford on the pod, but that's all resolved now. So what a car to announce too. Again, 18th and 43rd, but the Sandown 500 Castrol, just iconic livery. I was going to say it's a Toyota livery, and it kind of is, but it's not because it's a Tickford car. But anyway, it's a Castrol livery. Yeah. So yes, get into your nearest stockist to order all of those if you're a Tickford or Premier or Grove Racing fan. So there's a bit in there for that.
Of World Rallying from the 90s.
Yes, which you probably have to be a Perth bloke like us to be pretty keen on those.
I do hope you have. I know you put one aside for me.
Of course I have.
Yeah,
of course I have.
Excellent. Which I'll pay in full for. You can be assured of that.
Now we move into road car land. So we've also made some road car announcements. So these ones only in 1/18th. So we don't have any other scales for these ones. So a little bit for everyone here. So the next in our VE Commodore collection, so SSV Atomic Green, this one. So really does stand out quite nicely. Still on the Holden theme, another HK Brahm, this time in burgundy maroon. So that will look quite stunning as well. Then we move into Leylands and our P76s. We obviously had finished with the Targas. We've done all of those. So now we've moved into the Supers. So slightly different, what would be the word? Not decoration package, but accessory package. Different type of model. So the Super in Boulder's Brass, which is they love their odd names for colours.
Yeah,
so
that's something.
That's yellow, just for those playing at home. And then for the Ford fans, we haven't forgotten about you. The next now Landos.
Landos. Something on the Formula One on the mind.
We're about to get to the news and we've got something to talk about. So Ford Landau, let's get it right, in Tropic Gold. So that's our four road car releases or announcements, I should say, with some supercars as well.
Tropic Gold's up there with Boulder's Brass.
Yeah.
Pretty wild colour
we
names.
don't have the cool colour names anymore. It's just one of those things.
I don't know.
There's something about the 70s, clearly, that we missed out on.
They've actually gone and bought a new car and sat down and looked at what they're doing. There are still some interesting colour.
Yeah, but
names,
not like
as good
Boulder's Brass. So don't forget to, if you'd like to order one of those, to get into your nearest stockist, place an order with them. You can go on our website, register your interest, and we'll email you as soon as we have them in stock.
Wonderful. Okay, let's move on to segment 3. Show us your collections. Now, to get involved in this, just hit us up at collections@authenticcollectables.com.au or share your collections with us on socials with the hashtag CollectAuthentic. That'll give you a chance to appear on the show, and the best collection, as picked by myself, will win a $250 gift card to the Authentic Collectables store. Our winner this time is Stephen Salvarinas, and what a collection that this bloke's got going on, Will.
It's pretty impressive. It's a huge collection that he's got, and definitely, as you can see, it's stunning.
It is. And Steve actually asked us to give a bit of a shout out to his wife, Maria, for her work on the Ferrari Mosaic, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So
absolutely stunning.
He's done a good job there. Steve's done well to bring the family into the collecting world.
Absolutely.
Rather than trying to hide receipts.
Well, we might still be doing a bit of that, but we don't know.
This one was definitely on sale. Look, $250. We're basically making money off this thing now.
That's exactly right.
Tens of thousands of dollars worth of stuff in there from what I can see, but so you're absolutely nailing this, Steve. Very deserving of of being our winner this week. Well, let's move on to the latest news kicking about the motor racing world. We have actually, since we last spoke, we now have 2 champions in what I would say are our
sort of our wheelhouse,
our major championships that we.
Yep, and you got what you wanted.
Don't want to care. I didn't want. Not what I wanted. It's not about what I wanted. It wasn't us against each other.
No, but it was your tip was going
to win the championship.
Yeah, your tip came through.
Yeah. No, William Brown. He hard to argue against him being anything but a deserving champion.
Absolutely.
One of those odd years where someone doesn't win the most races but still wins the championship because he finished on the podium every weekend.
That's right.
That is amazing.
It's an amazing stat, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It really is. And I still think, to get back, I probably, my preseason prediction was genuinely that Brock would be really hard to beat for the championship. And Will went out there and did it. And did it in absolutely fine style, and then got to do it with that amazing win on the Sunday in Adelaide, which is a fair way in the rear view mirror now, but it was, an insane race. And he sort of, like, what a way to turn a dead rubber into a ball tearing race, and B, just an incredible way to be able to celebrate winning a championship.
And the way sort of just everyone sort of forgot what they were doing in the last day. Like,
it's got me wondering whether we're going the right way with finals, or do we go the other way and just have no points at all? Like, every race is a dead rubber,
and then just turn up at the last race and whoever wins gets it.
Every race is at last rubber. No, it just doesn't matter. Who cares? Every race is a dead rubber. Just no points. Go like mad, right?
Yeah,
now.
well, it might liven
Just
up a few of the races during the year. I should say.
Randomly award the championship at a race. No one knows which one it is.
Now.
Yeah. So you got to be going. Like, today might be the day.
Just randomly, some sort of lottery.
That's
just
some good.
There's a yes no mid race.
Yeah.
Of like, is it going to be the championship today? Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Right.
Yeah. No,
better get on it.
That's it. No. So it was a great case study in the fact that you don't necessarily need points on the line for it to be an incredible
to be
race.
a good race.
But look, yeah, as much as it obviously doesn't help your wallet all that much,
No.
very hard to argue that Will didn't deserve to win the championship. For all the naysayers, he would still have been in a great position to win the championship, and then won the championship had we been in the finals era
System anyway. Yep.
which I'm still very excited about and think it's going to be a great thing. And you have to think about how mad that race was on the Sunday in Adelaide and be like, geez, imagine if guys were actually fighting for the championship in that race.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So I think we're going to see chaos again next year just because of how much will be at stake.
Yeah.
At least we'll be
hopefully.
going one way or the other.
Hopefully.
Yes.
There's some chaos. Because as I say, the sort of the rest of the year needed a little bit of chaos, and then we got it.
Yeah.
Got it on the last day.
We definitely did. So yeah, that was Supercars. That's our Supercars champion. We have a Formula One world champion.
Yes.
In Max Verstappen for the fourth time.
Yes.
Again,
Landau Norris in his 1970s Ford.
Yeah. Yep. So that's obviously. I mean, it's hard to argue against Max, and just what a complete weapon.
Yeah.
He is,
and the way because we've had Brazil as well since we last spoke. That was just an amazing event as well.
Yeah.
Nothing like a little bit of rain to spice things up a bit.
Does certainly make things fairly interesting, but yeah. So it's and that's an odd one as well because it's we talk about Will not winning the most races but winning the championship, and Max is going to win the world championship for drivers in a car that doesn't necessarily, will probably almost definitely won't win the manufacturer's championship. Held by the fact that his teammate is obviously
Max is finishing third in the constructors on his own, isn't he?
Yes, it's pretty much
the way the numbers work.
Pretty much. So yeah, but still, it does show how good the guy is to have that year where he can go and piece together a drivers' championship, and it probably, I think, this year has highlighted the difference between these champion drivers, proven champion drivers, and your aspirational championship drivers like Lando Norris.
Yep. Who
just have too many bad weekends.
Yep.
Too many weekends where it's not quite executed to the level that it needs to be executed to. And you got a guy who just knows how to win a championship, who wins a championship.
It's that discussion around, the fight of trying to get your first one, and just how different it is when you're just going to back it up after, for round 2 or round 3.
Lando hadn't won a race until this year.
No, that's exactly right.
So and that's not. I don't say that from a critical point of view. Like, it's very difficult to go straight from piecing a Grand Prix together.
Yep.
To the point that you get to the finish line first, to then trying to piece a season together to the point you win a championship.
And he stumbled a little bit to get the first one.
Yeah.
To get the first win, I should say.
Yeah, for sure.
So to have said, potentially at the end of the year that he could have been the champion as well.
Yeah.
It's a pretty impressive year for him as well, really.
It's kind of like, I think given the fact we're not going to see massive differences in the cars year on year because we're heading into the final year of a rule cycle. Next year could be pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Particularly with Lewis moving and what have you. Like there's a fair bit to enjoy for next year.
Yeah. Yeah, because
hopefully.
And again, this is the great thing when you do have, the best driver or at least one of 2 or 3 of the best drivers in the field in the car that's maybe not quite the best car. That's when the fun does tend to kind of start to happen.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah, F1's in a pretty good spot. What's going on in Supercars land at the moment?
Well, Todd's been announced as Brodie's co-driver up at DJR.
Yep, that was
possibly the worst kept secret in pit lane. But that has been made official.
Like Brodie actually posted he replied to DJR's Instagram post with something out of, I think it might be out of Step Brothers with like Will Ferrell sort of, that's awesome sort of. And it was good, but they're obviously they get on really well.
Yep. This year they've developed a really good rapport.
I don't think it's about winning Bathurst either, because I think the request might have been made before Bathurst.
Yeah.
That
I think you might be right.
I'm coming over, and tell you what, I wouldn't mind if me mate could come with me.
Yeah.
So and it's always just fun when a partnership can defend Bathurst.
Yeah. Yeah,
It
and
does
we
open
haven't
the
had it for a
door.
while.
No, it does open the door for a team to go back to back. So,
Even if it is in a completely different car and
well, not completely different.
Well,
Same
elements of it might be similar.
Same chassis. It'll be interesting to see. I wrote a story about it, depending on when you're listening to this, fairly recently, about the sort of will there be a culture clash between the ultra polished Dick Johnson Racing in the, let's call it the Team Penske and then beyond era, and Brody, who's a pretty sort of regular dude, let's say,
pretty chill dude.
If they do win Bathurst, there's been all this stuff. Will he have to tuck his shirt in? What I want to know, if he wins Bathurst, will Doc Story let him wear his Crocs at the Crocs I'm wearing? I'm wearing Crocs right now. Will he be allowed to wear Crocs?
When is your sponsorship coming through? Just quietly for these Crocs. I mean, goodness me,
mate. These are expensive. These are an outgoing. Let me tell you right now, they're not an incoming. These are the real deal. These ones. Will he be allowed to wear Crocs to the photo shoot?
I'm not entirely sure that he'd be wearing Crocs in a DJ shirt, but
because the photos of him rolling down pit lane with the Peter Brock trophy with a Chico bucket hat and a pair of black Crocs on were spectacular.
Yes. It'll be slightly different next year. I would have thought.
Could be. And as a man who makes model cars and obviously takes great interest in what that model car will be, because you have to make a scale model of the car. Mm-hmm. Are you slightly worried that you don't quite know what Supra you might be making? There's
a bit of that
thing, because we now know what was kind of suspected to some extent, given the fact that BMW was ending the Z4 production, that Toyota globally does seem pretty set on saying farewell to the A90, which is the current Supra.
Yep.
At the end of 25, which is right before it's meant to go racing in supercars in 2026.
As a model car maker, I guess from my point of view, the more Toyota Supras I can make, the better.
Well, you did get to make an S550 Mustang Gen 3 car, which never actually went car racing.
Nope.
And then you got to make an
made it anyway.
650 Mustang Gen 3 supercar, which did go car racing.
It could be actually interesting, guys, I'm looking at you down the lens now, to get in the comments, if we made the current Supra, as it was sitting at Bathurst, the prototype that was sitting there, with, nice black on one side and the clay on the other, is that something you'd be interested in? Hit us up in the comments.
Cheap to make, doesn't need a motor, doesn't need any.
No. Well, I should caveat, it would be resin if we did it. It would be resin. It wouldn't be opening parts because, let's face it, that clay model at Bathurst didn't open either.
There was nothing about that.
So yes, but is that something that you would be interested in?
Will it be clay? Can you sculpt a little bit of it yourself like they were doing at Bathurst?
It's literally just a pot of Play-Doh in one of our foam clams with a lovely box on the outside.
Yeah, it's great.
We'd make it all, it'd be all nice, and you wouldn't be able to play with it in that way. That's
interesting. Anyway, look, I guess the indications right now, we've done a bit of chasing with Toyota and with WAU, is that the expectation is that they will at least start by racing that shape Supra.
Yeah, okay.
Even if it is just out of production. Toyota is also saying that they expect there to be another Supra. They're not actually ending the nameplate. They've got a Celica. They've got all sorts of stuff kind of in the pipeline
that they could use.
But I think that
GR
there's
Yaris, squeeze it on it.
Well, the GR brand is something they do want. All this stuff's going to fall under that umbrella. And I think that, I just don't think we're going to end up in a Camaro situation where the brand building of the whole thing kind of overtakes the fact that you can't actually go and buy one of these current Camaros because this is Toyota. This is they are a volume car producer. Yeah. They are all about production and selling products.
Yeah. GM in this country is kind of in a little bit of a holding pattern, as we know. Like, there are definitely plans for them to come back into the country, not necessarily with Chev, but with a couple of other nameplates and what have you, and kind of not rebuild the brand, but definitely have an active presence in this country. So you might expect that they'll change in the future. But with Toyota, you'd be very surprised that a car company that has plenty of dealerships, got
Yeah.
plenty of products. You know, that they'll
Yeah.
find something that is the old adage of race on Sunday, sell on Monday.
I think that's what they will want. So I still probably think sitting here right now that we will see the car that we saw go racing.
Yeah.
But it could be that it has, you know, a relatively short shelf life, as the S550 was going to anyway.
Yes.
Like
Yeah,
even
correct.
best case scenario, it was only ever going to be
Still going to only
a
get 12 months out of it or something. Yeah.
except for that time when they were weirdly going to introduce Gen 3 midway through the season, where it would have run for like 6 months.
Yep.
Um,
Again, great year for us. Had that happened, we would have had Gen 2 cars and Gen 3 cars of the same thing, same year.
Yeah.
Thank goodness that
another
didn't happen.
Completely different.
Oh, thank
would have
goodness.
been the whole thing.
No, thank goodness that didn't happen.
So anyway, but interesting all the same. An interesting sort of thing about the whole Toyota entry. It's
One last thing to talk about, because I know that we were both fairly excited about it, and it harks back to Adelaide, and it's about the things that are behind you.
Oh,
How good were sprint cars?
yeah, no, it was
in Adelaide.
It was meant. They did a fantastic job.
If you didn't get to see it, if you weren't there, man, you missed out.
Yep.
Like it was amazing.
Great. It was great. The racing was good. The track race better than anyone expected.
Yeah.
Particularly good the Thursday night. Still more than good enough on the Friday night.
Yeah. Thursday was a cracker though.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just bloody brilliant. It was a really good thing for sprint car racing. It shows that you can do things outside the box and they can work.
Yep.
If you just be a bit creative about what you want to do, and that goes, you can apply that to both sides in terms of what, you know, from a sprint car perspective. No, we don't need a state of the art facility to go and put on good racing and really showcase our sport. And from an event promotion perspective, these things are possible if you just go and do them.
It's effectively a street race version of supercars. You know, it's definitely something that can be done.
Yep.
So yeah, Perth street race. Wander over to Optus in the afternoon.
Optus.
Could you imagine?
Well, you wouldn't. You certainly wouldn't. So probably the only criticism you could have of that Adelaide Speedway was that the side with the banking was unreal for viewing, but there was a lot of the track where you just couldn't see anything.
Yeah, you could sort of just see the wing go past.
Yeah, but you could have
40,000
sitting there.
40,000 thousand people in
sprint car
Optus.
racing in Optus. That's a great idea.
That'd be amazing.
That would be.
Might be a pipe dream. I'm afraid.
I would imagine so. Yeah, but it would be very, very cool.
Just as we went into AFL season 2. Can you imagine?
That's that would be great. I was at the cricket the other day and I was looking at the little parklands in between the casino and the stadium.
Now we have a bit more of an idea, unlike when we went for that little drive.
It's certainly, the pictures changed a little bit on that one in terms of what they want to utilise. But when you look at that big green space, I think it's going to be a fairly compact sort of venue. But you sort of stand there and go, oh yeah.
Wanneroo isn't the longest circuit in the world, so
doesn't matter. We're literally talking about how good a Speedway was with
360 odd metre.
with an 11-second lap. So you can get bogged down in this, in the, you know, what it should look and feel and what the numbers should say. Well, it doesn't matter.
No,
absolutely
just
doesn't
send
matter.
it.
So
just send it.
But Optus Stadium Speedway, I'm into that. I'm into
Can't see it happening.
because the WA government would love to spend a lot of money on a speedway when they have one of the
very
best
good
speedways in
speedway.
the world.
Yep.
Like 20 minutes that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
So anyway, I still like it. Good idea.
Excellent.
Okay, I think we've waffled on for long enough about the
We have.
news. So let's move on to some of our viewer/listener questions. Remember, just leave your questions in the comments and we will do our best to answer them. Will, this is from our old mate Pants17, still one of the great names, I think, out there. So he asked, have you guys ever considered making some V8s from that era? Which era?
So I think he was referring to, because he had a question last ep about favourite liveries of all time. And so we waffled on as we always do.
Early 2000s. We were in the early 2000s sort of bracket there,
I think
early
so.
to mid.
So
Yep.
sort of discussing whether we go back and do some of that sort of stuff.
Yep. Well, would you?
It's in the plan. It's in the plan. We probably need to lean on a few more road car projects before we go delving into too much of the early supercar stuff. Although I do have a little project on the go at the moment that we might be able to talk about early in the new year, which gets us back into some of that early supercar stuff. So stay tuned for that.
There you go.
All right, one for you, AVL.
Okay.
Matthew Thompson asks, do you have any idea of the support categories for WA's supercar round next year, given that the Dunlop series won't be back?
I don't know exactly. I think TCR, there was some talk about TCR Australia as part of their tie-up with supercars. That could be on the cards.
Have we put our hand up for 1600 Formula Ford yet?
Well, it's not impossible. It's happened before.
It has.
It has happened before. So it's...
I don't think either of us were around to do it.
No, it was 2018. I was stuck in Melbourne.
Working?
Waiting. No, I didn't actually travel to Perth for the supercars that weekend because it was just days before my son was born.
Oh, that's exactly right. Yes.
So I was stuck in Melbourne watching my old man drive. I have a great time having a race. But I wasn't racing that weekend, so that hasn't happened before, and we will. I want to get us on the first street race.
Yeah, well, I mean that would be better.
That's what I'm working towards.
I'd be down for that.
So if we have to save some favour tokens, then
we'll use them up for that.
We might do that, but there was talk Trans Am would do it, but I think they will sort of be doing Darwin instead. So yeah, there's still a bit of haziness around where those ARG categories will kind of slot in.
It is sort of the hard thing when you have Perth, when you have Tassie, when you have Darwin, like they're all long haul events for support categories.
TCR is looking at doing Perth and Taupo.
Yeah, which
and I think at one point there was a Trans Am draft calendar that had Perth, Darwin, and Townsville. And then they've got the trip to Tassie for the Race Tasmania thing, and it was starting to size up as being a Formula One sort of spec mission, like traveling around, covering kilometres. So that's why that kind of didn't happen with the Perth thing. So it is a shame Dunlop series.
It's been a bit of a fixture.
Yeah, it has. But that's just life. There'll be something racing. And again, we are blessed with a very strong local motorsport scene here that can provide. Yeah. Like if there needs to be categories on track, we got them. Yeah. We got cars. There's plenty of them here. You know, we see them every
couple of
third
weekends.
or fourth Sunday that we go up there and go racing. So there'll be good stuff going on for sure. All right. This one is from Ned Scott 8469. Are there going to be any more VESS police cars? The new version is a stunner. I think it needs some friends.
Definitely, police cars are something that we will do a lot more of. I hope. I say I hope because it's another one of those licensing things. So
still can't believe people want to see police cars.
It goes against huge. It's huge. It's huge.
Every instinct in
my
body.
If there's one organisation that I don't really want to get into a licensing battle with,
the police.
It's a police department. So that's our sticking point at the moment. But hopefully we're fairly deep in discussions with Victoria Police. So I'm hoping, touch wood, that the next one we announce will be a Vic Police car. So that will be pretty cool.
All right, and our last question comes from Jacob Stevens. With the release of the sprint cars approaching, is there any plans yet on the next run of drivers? Boy, are there plans. I can even answer this one.
We'll go on then.
Talk about this all the time. We'll do all of them. We're going to do every single one.
No, we've got something happening at High Limits here in Perth in a month or so that we might be able to say in our next role models, because I reckon there'll be we might do another video just before the end of the year.
Is it anything to do with what I can see in the background over there?
Yeah, you can see it. No one else can though. And we're in deep discussions with a few other drivers as well. So let us get out what's sitting up here, which shouldn't be that far away, and then yes,
the response definitely was, and I know like two of the people selling these models in Adelaide.
We did have, I did air freight down a couple of cartons of McFadden's and Pridey's car for Adelaide.
Yeah.
And
So, between us, we know Tim Hodges very well. We
Yes.
know Jason Pride very well. And
they disappeared very
sold
quickly.
Like hotcakes.
Very, very quickly.
Absolute hotcakes.
I am slightly scared that I have not made enough, but we can always make more of different versions. So definitely, I think you'll find that sprint cars could be a very big part of our program moving forward next year.
Well, that's just about enough nonsense out of us for this episode. Thank you for joining us. We've probably got one more to go for the year. Maybe we'll go on location somewhere.
Let's go for a wander. We'll try and find somewhere to go and
if we
do
don't,
this nonsense.
if we don't, we'll just come here. I guess
And do this exactly the same as we do
It
every
doesn't
week.
really matter. Remember to get involved in all the competitions. You know, it's a fantastic opportunity to win some gift certificates. So look out for the code word. Send us your collections. We really love seeing those. Like and subscribe to the Authentic Collectables YouTube channel. Hit that little bell so you never miss an episode. And we'll be back soon with more role models.
Thanks, guys.